And greetings, one and all. Welcome to the Apptrepreneur Show. I am your host, Kevin, the Apptrepreneur, and this is your daily dose of apps, technology, a little bit of gaming, sometimes entertainment discussion, all that jazz. Thank you for joining me. It is an honor and a privilege to have you watching. Now then, we've got a lot to talk about today, but first I want to bring your attention to something that I have actually rarely brought attention to in this show, once I can set this up real quick, and that is my new-ish Twitter account. Well, here's the thing. I've actually been on Twitter since 2008. And interestingly, in that time as Twitter, I had never, ever changed my profile picture. If you had been following me on Twitter before I made some changes, that picture you saw of me wearing the sunglasses and the baseball cap, that was a 16-year-old Apptrepreneur. I never updated that, and apparently no one said that I looked too young, so I must be holding my looks pretty darn well if a 16-year-old picture of me actually passes as the adult photo. But I've decided, it's time for change, and now that I'm not on Facebook anymore, not really, but I am on Twitter, and, someone actually asked me once, well, why can you be on Twitter and not Facebook? Because Twitter is more toxic. And I agree, Twitter is in many ways way more toxic. However, Twitter is more friendly for people who want to share their videos with strangers, first of all, and also, I think I can tune it out a little bit better because Twitter is, for the most part, a bunch of strangers. I mean, I know a few people personally on Twitter, but for the most part, when I read something dumb on Twitter, okay, it's some random idiot, I don't care. But when it's Facebook, it's someone I actually know personally, it's like, man, you really feel that way? You want to die on that hill? So, I don't know, maybe that's the difference. But anyway, I have re-themed my Twitter just a little bit. Minor changes. First of all, I do have a new photo of my current year, and yes, I'm wearing a mask because I don't wear the mask in the house. It's just, I want to state that I think you should wear a mask when you go outside. Also, it is no longer Kevin T. Rod. It is now the Apptrepreneur. This is officially my Twitter handle, and the benefits of you following me on Twitter. I got a notification. Is that like a notification or a, hey, Uber fraud just followed me? Thank you for following me. That was kind of cool. You get to see my videos, even videos that I do on other channels that you might not be subscribed to. You might get little sneak peeks on topics that will be in a future episode of a show. So, and then you'll get random little anecdotes from me. Now, granted, once in a while I'll say something political, but for the most part I don't want my Twitter to be like a billboard. I want it to just be me. I want to be fun. By the way, this is one of my favorite videos. This is why I love my wife so much, by the way. We were waiting in line for Disneyland one day. I love my wife. I am sorry. I don't care what you say. That girl is cute as a button. So anyway, that is my Twitter profile. I mean, it's been there for a while, but now it's officially an Apptrepreneur-themed Twitter feed. And hey, we've got 19 people watching. Thank you for watching. And if you want to give a thumbs up, please do. Hey, Michael Smith and Uniton, welcome. Arthur is here. I missed your skits with you and the missus. Please resurrect. I actually do still do some of those. However, they are mainly behind the paywall of the Patreon and YouTube members. That's where most of them are, but I still do them occasionally. Hey, George is here and Mark is here. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. But anyway, with that out of the way, we spent like 5 minutes talking about that, and I think a lot of you want to start hearing about the topic. So anyway, after we take a quick little sip of LaCroix, no sugar. It's soda water with a little bit of flavor, and I'm actually loving it. It's a great way to get me off the soda. So anyway, let's talk about our main topic. And this was a shock to me. It probably shouldn't be a shock to me. It really shouldn't. But it was a shock to me. So this coronavirus pandemic has changed everything about the gig economy. And look, I understand that. But here's the thing. Right now, I would argue, pretty convincingly I would say, that it is not safe to drive Uber and Lyft. Now, some people might say, well, it's never been safe. You're much more likely to get into a car crash if you do Uber and Lyft. You never know who you're picking up. Have you heard the horror stories of people getting beat? I understand that, but it's even less safe than before because you don't know who's coming into your car and who might be sick. And especially since now most of the passengers seem to be people who need to get to the hospital, there's a much, much higher chance of you getting COVID-19 from Uber and Lyft. There's a reason a lot of people have decided not to do this. But Uber and Lyft, they're trying to do damage control. They're trying to say, hey, look, we are going to provide cleaning supplies for the drivers. We're going to send them sanitizers and spray and masks. I think they should also send them those little plate glasses that some people have put in themselves. I think that would go a long way. However, there has been complaints that they've been very slow to act upon that. Very slow to act upon that. And I don't know what Uber's excuse is, but Lyft's excuse might be that they're not slow at getting those supplies out. They just want to charge the drivers for them. And this kind of shows me that Lyft is truly in trouble. So anyway, according to Digital Trends, Lyft drivers are slamming the rideshare company for selling personal protective equipment to its drivers through an online store, saying masks and other safety supplies should be provided to them for free. I agree. Quote, it's such an unreasonable and overall ridiculous level of cynicism to sell your workers the protective gear that they need for the risks that you expose them to and profit them from, said California Lyft driver Eden Alva. There's nothing about it that resembles trying to protect the drivers. The Lyft store sells items like reusable and disposable masks, hand sanitizer, disinfectant, and more made by Mission Ready Solutions Incorporated. The website says there's no markup prices on these items, that drivers pay wholesale prices, not including the shipping costs. Yeah, but here's the thing. Lyft and Uber, especially like both of them, said that drivers would not have to pay for these things. That, hey, they are going to send these things to the drivers. Now, maybe it's because people don't report to me when there are good things that happen with Uber and Lyft. I do acknowledge that's a possibility. But I do not see anyone sending me an email saying that Lyft and Uber sent them free protective gear. I've not received a single email. I have not seen a screenshot on Twitter that shows Uber and Lyft sending free protective gear. And now, let's see. Let's just go to the Lyft store. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, you got to log into your account. Well, never mind. And now that won't work. But anyway, so this is ridiculous. Oh yay, it's back. So anyway, drivers for the rideshare company called the move to sell products outrageous, since they say they have seen little effort from Lyft to provide safety supplies during the coronavirus pandemic. Lyft announced a $6.5 million initiative for coronavirus support in April. The company said it had dedicated $2.5 million in cleaning supplies and face masks to drivers. A Lyft spokesperson told Digital Trends that the company doesn't profit off the PPE that is available to purchase on its online store. From their words, all cleaning supplies and safety products are provided to drivers either for free or at cost. The Lyft store is a resource to provide millions of drivers across the U.S. easy access to cleaning supplies and face masks that have consistently been difficult to find. Yeah, but why aren't you just giving them away for free? These are your drivers, right? I mean, their safety is your number one concern, right? And yet, you aren't giving them away. You are selling them. You are selling them. And that is ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. That is nonsense as far as I'm concerned. Because here's the thing. You're having a hard enough time convincing people that it is worth driving during a pandemic where you are much more likely to get sick now, more so than ever, especially as the numbers spike. You should be shutting your app down. Period. I think you should be shutting the app down. Like, wait until this is over. I also don't think Disney World should be open, for the record, but, you know. But, hey, you know what? You don't want to shut the app down? Okay, fine. Provide the cleaning supplies, provide the masks, do what you can. But no, you're selling them. Hey, these things are hard to find. Just give them out. You can see who's an active driver. If the driver isn't active but wants to start driving and they just request them, send them. And hey, you know what? If you can see that they are not driving, then maybe they are taking advantage of you, and then you can do something about that. But the fact that you are just outright charging for these things does not look good. It does not look good. But I will be fair. I will ask everyone at home, have you received PPP PPE, yeah, from Lyft. If so, what did they send you? How much of it did they send you? Did they charge you anything for it? I would love to know. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, playing responsibly. Now then, let's look over here. So I'm gay for Brian. Interesting name. Says, hi, Kevin. And Mark says, CV19, the silent killer. I agree. So anyway, hey, anyone watching live want to give a thumbs up? That would be great. I don't see any comments on this particular story. So we are going to move on to main topic number 2. And the second main topic is, we all know that Uber is in competition not only with Lyft and not only with DoorDash. They are also in competition with car ownership. They are in competition with public transit. For some reason, even though public transit is ridiculously unprofitable, like, it's called public transit for a reason, it's not a profitable venture. Uber wants to get into it. They've been making some deals with some public transit companies. They are developing software that, is made for public transit. And now they are taking one step further because they have acquired a public transportation software company in their latest transit expansion. So according to Reuters, Uber Technologies Inc. on Thursday announced the acquisition of transit software provider RouteMatch, marking the ride-hailing company's latest move towards expanding its business with public transportation agencies. Uber, which has gradually deepened its collaboration with agencies over recent years, last month announced its first software-based transit deal with an agency in San Francisco Bay Area. Thursday's acquisition allows Uber to rapidly expand its transit agency customer base, but also combine the routing, matching, and on-demand technology both companies have developed. David Reich, Uber's head of transit, said, "This lets us go much farther, so much faster in being able to power public transit agencies." Atlanta-based RouteMatch provides technology to some 550 transit agencies in North America and Australia for fixed route operations, including payment processing, fleet management, route planning, tracking, and scheduling. Now then, so here's how this is going to benefit Uber. It's going to benefit them in a couple ways. First of all, yes, this does put them more into the public transportation sector, which for some reason they want to be in. Again, I don't know why. Why. Public transportation is notoriously unprofitable. Nobody makes money from it. And I don't know why they're doing it. That's my personal opinion. However, here's another thing that would help them out. They would be looking at people's daily lives. They'd be seeing the routes that they take. They'd be collecting data on the people who get on and off and use public transportation, and they could synchronize that information with their Uber app. So maybe they can start offering deals to people to get them off the public transit and into an Uber vehicle. That could be one of the things that they are doing. Keep in mind, Uber's long-term goal, I don't know if it's going to be reality, is still to have autonomous cars and to take people everywhere and to kill car ownership. So they are trying to collect as much data as possible to make that a reality. And once they've collected enough data, at least in their minds, they will unleash this project and they will do their best to kill car ownership. Personally, I don't think that's ever going to happen. In fact, we're already about 2 years behind. Well, maybe not 2 years behind, but this was the year that we were supposed to start seeing the autonomous vehicles on the road. Heck, next year was when we were supposed to start seeing the flying car, which we all know how far that went. But anyway, I would like to know, what do you think of this purchase? Do you think this is a wise move by Uber? Do you think it's not? I'd love to know. Comment below. Like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, flame responsibly. So let's see here. So I don't see any comments about, well, let's see here. Wiccan Time says cheap mask plus SM sanitizer. Are you saying that Lyft sent you that or that you just bought that? That's the only thing I'm unclear about. Okay, well, anyway, there's not any more comments on that, so we're going to move on to main topic number 3. And this is going to be a little bit of an out of left field topic for this channel. And the replay video might not even wind up on one of the Apptrepreneur channels. It might wind up on the Failed Journalist, who knows. But I definitely was taken a little aback by this, and it does follow a topic we've been, talking about, which is ownership and digital media. Now, and book burning, like digital book burning. And one of the reasons that I really despise Amazon, there's a lot of reasons I do, but one of the things I don't like about Amazon is how they treat art like a commodity. They sell, like in the cases of the booksellers, 50% of the books in the nation, maybe even the world. And whenever Amazon wants to penny squeeze the publisher, they just take their products off the site and until the book publisher agrees to give them more money, which then means the book company is not making enough to run their expenses, but not losing 50% of the nation's sales is a worse position to be in than giving Amazon more money. Now, one person says, well, that means it's worth it to them to deal with Amazon and to keep that deal. Well, no, it is, but it isn't. I mean, they want to have those sales, yes, but under Amazon's terms, they are still being squeezed. Another thing that Amazon does is that they have removed things from their site that they simply don't like. And so when I read an article like this one from Otaku USA magazine, again, this is a little bit of a left topic for us, that Amazon is removing Yen Press and J Novel Club titles, I stop and look and go like, okay, what's going on and what's the implication for this? So let's look at this real quick. So in recent days, it's become apparent that Amazon has been blocking some manga titles from both Yen Press and J Novel Club. By the way, I'm not familiar with J Novel Club, but Yen Press does do manga. They're particularly known for yaoi manga, which is gay manga. So needless to say, I'm not like a customer of theirs for the most part. I'm not interested in that stuff, but this is still concerning. So anyway, Yen Press tweeted, "Sadly, we have confirmed with Amazon that they have opted to remove our No Game, No Life titles from their platform. Happily, there are other retailers, both physical and digital, that are thrilled to help you support for these titles in the form of cash exchanged for goods." That's what Yen Press said. Now, J Novel Club said, "We verified today that starting July 11th, all books in the series The Greatest Magic Masters Retirement Plan, I Shall Survive Using Potions," which is a manga plus LN, whatever that is, How Not to Summon a Demon Lord, and Clockwork Planet, are no longer available for sale on Amazon Kindle except in Amazon Japan. Now then, the titles in question, of course, are available at other stores and platforms, but the blocking of titles at Amazon has brought about concerns of censorship. Kurt Hassler, the publisher and managing director of Yen Press, gave Otaku USA this statement. "As publishers, we're disappointed whenever it becomes more difficult for books to find their way into the hands of enthusiastic readers. We've received notification last week that some titles had been removed from sale on Amazon. And after reaching out for clarification on the matter, we were informed that a determination had been made that the books did not fall within their global content guidelines." Global content guidelines? What the heck? "While we obviously wish they were still available, making the decision as to what to offer their patrons is obviously the prerogative of the seller." This is true, by the way. "Nevertheless, we're grateful to the fans who have expressed their support and to the many other outlets that continue to make the books readily available." Now, Samuel Pinaski, president and founder of J Novel Club, gave details on his perspective when asked by Otaku USA for a comment. How J Novel Club is handling the listings currently. "The first time something like this happened was the first week of May, where 2 volumes of How Not to Summon a Demon Lord were blocked, and after approximately 3 weeks of repeated emails and phone calls with Amazon with no clear explanation, we attempted to re-upload the 2 books. However, one of them was again blocked a week later, and the other one seems to have been blocked with the rest of the series that was still available on the 11th. Throughout the month of May / June, numbers of our books were set to be blocked, usually with a generic notification that they violated Amazon's content guidelines. They include a link to those, but repeated inquiries about what specific part of the content was in violation would never be specified." Sounds a lot like Uber and eBay, doesn't it? "Escalations to supervisor and then support team leader level multiple times over multiple weeks produce 3 to 4 promises of getting things resolved, but in the end, no one at Amazon Kindle Support really even has the capability of talking directly to anyone at Kindle Content Review, which operates as a black box even within Amazon itself. They only respond to email queries, often taking 5 to 9 business days to even respond, and each time produce only by the same template responses. Phone support has, no power to override or obtain any further information from Kindle Content Review, and despite being very upset about the situation, we can only send more email queries to the Kindle Content Review team, which will only reply to us eventually with the same generic emails. The specific wording of the template response is, and people who are sellers on Amazon might say this, will testify that this is what they get. As stated in our guidelines, we reserve the right to determine what we consider to be appropriate, which includes cover images and content within the book. We are unable to elaborate further on specific details regarding our content guidelines beyond what is available here. Which is funny, because if they'd actually, and this is one of the reasons why companies do this, by the way. They do this because if they were to be super specific about something, then they would basically be like a censorship group. They would say, okay, well, if you change this, you can let it back on. And then you're being accused of censorship, which they don't want to be accused of. But by making it super wide and super vague, it also gives them the power to just take things off for whatever reason. They'll say, oh, it violated the guidelines. Which guideline? We can't really tell you, but good luck in figuring it out. So in response to this incident on the 13th, we requested once again that phone support send a ticket to Kindle Content Review. This would be the 10th one, maybe 12th. I expect that tomorrow I will get a template email from Kindle Content Review saying that they are very busy and will look into the issue in 5 to 9 business days. And then the 9 business days, I will get another template email in which states all titles were removed from sale for violating content guidelines with no further information about what guidelines was being violated. I replied to that email requesting more information. I will get the template email listed above, and after will not get a response until I can call phone support to start the cycle again. In other words, if there's a review process that's actually going on, it's a complete black box and the opposite of transparent. Now then, here's what's interesting. The comment actually continues on why he thinks these books were banned. What we think happened. Considering we have never had an issue like this before, early May, and some other evidence, I suspect this is due to the Kindle Content Review black box beginning to rely more heavily on automated systems to detect problematic content. One piece of evidence is that in late April, the time for reviewing submissions became extremely delayed, over a week in some cases, but then suddenly around early May, the review time became much quicker, meaning that they had somehow cleared their backlog. They publicly stated this delay was due to staffing issues due to COVID-19, so my suspicion is that they sped up the process and cut out a significant amount of human checking, relying on some auto recognition system. However, no one at Amazon actually knows what their internal process is except the Kindle Content Review team itself, so this is all just speculations. Our opinions on delisting titles without notifying us? The emails are mostly automated. In the latest case on the 11th, we think that for some reason, the books were left available, but only on the Japan store, the English version specifically. Because of that, they still show as live in our admin panel, but after calling up support, they looked into the backend and found that the content review team had sent a sales restriction flag. Since they are still technically on sale at the Japan store, I suspect the automated emails were not triggered, which is why we weren't notified. My opinions are that all of this is pointing to a content review team which has no consistent policies and are making arbitrary decisions with little or no human input. That would also explain why entire series were blocked this time while previous incidents were just single volumes. My hope is that once the virus situation is under proper control, Amazon will restaff or reconfigure the content review department to actually be able to do their job correctly, but my fear is that they will continue to rely on whatever systems they are currently, as it's likely cheaper and good enough for them and never fix these problems. I'm leaning towards green. So, not only that, our print editions of, for example, How Not to Summon a Demon Lord are still for sale on Amazon. All this means is that it is not the result of some consistent policy being applied. It is the very definition of arbitrary and capricious. That also the content review teams for each language are separate, I believe, and it's quite possible that the Japanese Kindle store has a different policy and standard. We actually did try emailing jeff@amazon.com. By the way, for those of you who ever have an issue with Amazon, this is Jeff Bezos' personal email. So you can actually email Jeff Bezos if you have an issue with Amazon. And got a response. But it just ended up getting forwarded to the same Kindle Content Review email address and produced no different response than any of our other attempts. I believe the only people who would have any ability to help this problem would be level 7 senior managers at Kindle Content Review, or hire themselves, or someone at the director level or VP on the Kindle team. one of the people who promised to help with the level 7 senior manager at Kindle support, but even they seem powerless to affect anything at Kindle Content Review. On the other hand, all of our books are available on Bookwalker, Google Play Books, iBooks, Kobo, Nook, Overdrive for libraries, and of course directly on our own site at j-novelclub.club for members and premium members to purchase. These are the titles that are currently not available. Now here's what's concerning. First of all, I will say, I see a cover like that, and I am thinking I can see why this would probably get pulled. That girl looks a little young, to be blunt. But here's the bigger problem. Again, when there are other stores you can buy these books if you want. But if Amazon takes you off their site, you could be losing up to 50% of the nation's book sales. You are missing exposure on a site that a lot of people, really more than almost everyone in the world, uses on a daily basis. It puts a book in a weird position, and you have to wonder what right does Amazon have, really, as the number one bookseller of the world, to decide what is and isn't appropriate. Let's put a little thought process. Let's put a little thought exercise, if you will. Let's say Amazon existed in the 50s, and Amazon sold more than half the books in the nation. And but the nation was still super conservative, and there were still certain things that were a problem. Would Amazon be removing books like A Single Man, which was about a 50-year-old gay man who starts a relationship with a 20-year-old gay man? Would they remove books like Lolita, in which an adult man, falls in love with his stepdaughter, and there's a reason that book is controversial. It is not a defense of pedophilia, but it does look at the subject with frank brutality, if you will. What about The Catcher in the Rye? Super controversial book. It's still controversial because it's a book that basically connects with teenagers. And it's funny that book because teenagers read it and it's like, oh, a book gets me. This character understands that the world is phony, and as an adult you read it and it's like, this kid has a lot of learning to do. But would Amazon deem that book is not suitable for public consumption, and because it violates their policies, and they remove it? And yeah, you could buy it at other places, but they're the biggest one. I mean, they've already removed books like Animal Farm in 1984. Basically, George Orwell is blacklisted from Amazon. So when I read the story about this, even though I don't know what's in the books, to be frank, I don't know why they banned the books. I have issues with them banning the books, though. I do not think book burning is a good thing. And it's even more troubling because that's essentially what Amazon is doing. But they're using their protection like, well, we're the seller. We can sell whatever we choose to want, which they do have the right to. But once you have so much control of the market, it's like, well, but then this company is determining what the public reads. And it's kind of the same when Google decides, well, we're going to remove this website from a search engine. Yes, there are other search engines out there. There's Bing, and there's the Yahoo search engine, I believe, and there's DuckDuckGo. But the problem is those are not used nearly as much as Google. So if Google removes something, then Google has a sense removed it from the rest of the world. It's a very complicated topic, and it's one that we don't have time to... I mean, who knows? Maybe one day we'll do a complete 1-hour discussion. I don't know. But in the meantime, what about any of you? Have any of you read these books? Are you aware of this? What do you think of Amazon removing these titles from their store? I would love to know. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, playing responsibly. All right, let's see. Do we have any comments? I have a few. Wickentime said Lyft sent. Okay, I'm glad that Lyft sent you something. Let's see here. Okay, so that topic does not involve me. So, okay. So anyway, let's move on to main topic number, I believe this is 4. And we're just going to jump right into this one because there's no need to do a setup, but Instacart is taking Uber's corner shop to court over alleged catalog IP theft. Now, this is rich, in my opinion. Instacart claims thousands of images have been stolen and cease and desist demands have been ignored. So what's going on? Instacart has filed a lawsuit against Uber's corner shop service for allegedly stealing intellectual property. On July 16th, the U.S. grocery delivery service accused Corner Shop of scraping Instacart resources to steal product images from the firm's catalog, concealing this theft and passing off this work as their own. Instacart said the brazen theft included the systematic lifting of copyrighted product images, many of which were created in-house. Furthermore, the company claims that Corner Shop attempted to disguise the theft by changing the file names. To bolster its case, Instacart added that vacancies posted by Corner Shop have asked for scrapping and rate limit bypass experience, demonstrating the IP theft is a strategic effort by the company. Quote, we invested tens of millions of dollars and a tireless amount of effort across our teams to build the world's largest and most comprehensive grocery catalog, Instacart said in a Medium blog post. This has required us to develop proprietary technology and operations to collect, photograph, and curate items from more than 30,000 store locations across the markets we serve. Instacart says cease and desist orders have been ignored by Corner Shop. A jury trial has since been requested in Texas. While we welcome competition innovation, what Corner Shop is doing is illegal, the delivery service added. We don't take the decision to litigate lightly, but we believe today's actions are necessary to protect our business and our retail partners from Corner Shop's ongoing theft. Now, here's the thing. I have no doubt that Instacart curated these images, and I have no doubt Uber is stealing them. I have no doubt. But I think it's kind of rich that Instacart says that, you stole our stuff. You stole our stuff when they, along with DoorDash and Postmates, have done the exact same thing. Now, we've talked about it in the podcast before, but I want to bring you back. Have you ever Googled a place to buy food, and you've gotten on the other end of the phone someone who does not quite sound American? Like, you want to buy from Pizza Brothers or Hank's Pizza or What a Lot of Pizza. I really like pizza. What can I say? These are American-owned companies, and you see a phone number under the Google search. You call the number, and you get someone from Pakistan or something. And they take your order, and they send it your way. And it has been discovered that for companies that do not have their own delivery system set up, and even some that do, Instacart and DoorDash and Postmates and Uber Eats all paid Google and Bing money so that the store's phone number didn't show up, but their phone number. So when you're calling, you're actually calling Grubhub. You're calling Instacart. You're not calling the store. The store is not even aware that a delivery transaction is taking place. And they bypassed these small businesses, and for some reason that was considered okay by everyone. But Uber's Corner Shop lifts images from Instacart to put on their site. Some of those images I fully believe came from Google. And now Instacart wants to sue Google. I don't know. I guess it's just another day in America. Another day in America. So anyway, I would like to know what you think about this. Do you think Instacart is in the right on this, or do you think they're being petty? I'd love to know. Comment below. Like, favorite, share, subscribe. And as always, flame responsibly. All right. Mark says they are censoring the market, not their job. Talking about Amazon, I assume. I agree. By the way, if you haven't given a thumbs up yet, please do. If anyone out there is watching and haven't given a thumbs up. So, all right. Anyway, we've got 2 more topics. Well, maybe 3. I have something I want to complain about, but it's more of a rant and it's not time necessary. So we'll kind of see how long this episode ends up being and if we have time for the rant. But in the meantime, let's move on to main topic number 5. And here's the thing. Some of you might be aware that I am a gamer. In fact, games have been especially important now because with the lockdown, games have kind of become like an escape. Games, books, movies, they've kind of been like an escape to the outside world, which I have, for the most part, been avoiding except for bank and grocery store visits. Can't go to the movies, I can't go to theme parks, and we visit very few friends now. It's kind of sad, to be honest. And one of the things that I definitely signed up for, and I decided to keep it a little longer, was Google Stadia. And you might know that I've been on xCloud Gaming a few times, my buddies over there, and I have discussed the merits of cloud game basing versus physical media gaming a few times. And while I believe cloud gaming is definitely nice, and I've come to agree that it's a fun little addition, I would not want to rely solely on it. And I've been very dubious of Google's ability to actually replace physical gaming with cloud gaming. One of the things that has not been discussed as frequently, though, is that other companies want to get into cloud gaming. I did bring it up once and said, I kind of wonder what's going to happen to Stadia once the other gaming companies decide they want to get into it. And, well, no offense to my buddies at xCloud Gaming, but we have the answer. Basically, Stadia is dead. Stadia is dead. Stick a knife in it. It's over. Because Microsoft has announced that they are going to launch an xCloud gaming streaming free with Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. This is Google Stadia's worst nightmare. So, according to the International Business Times, Microsoft plans to launch its game streaming service for free to its paying Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscribers in September. Currently known as Project X Cloud, this service aims to allow Xbox players to play games on mobile devices or start a game on their console and continue playing on their phones or tablets. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate will combine Xbox Live Access, an Xbox Game Pass subscription, and the xCloud game streaming service into a single monthly subscription worth $14.99, which is $5 more than Stadia, but they have a lot more perks. Microsoft promises that more than 100 Xbox Game Pass titles will be playable on a phone or tablet when the streaming service launches in September. Currently, there are no details on which countries will be supported during the service's launch, although Microsoft has been building out its Azure data centers across the US and in parts of Europe with Xbox One S blades. Although the only way to access xCloud streaming at launch will be via Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, it won't always be limited to the top subscription tier for Microsoft. As Microsoft says, over time we will continue to expand how we introduce streaming as part of the platform and playing games that you own that aren't part of the subscription, says Microsoft's Xbox chief Phil Spencer in an interview with The Verge. For launch, we're putting it in Ultimate for no additional cost. We think it's a good audience for us to start with, and it's an audience that plays a lot of games. And again, you look at this service, it's like, okay, it's going to be part of the Xbox Game Pass. It's going to have hundreds of games that you can just download. You can play them on the cloud, or you can download them onto your device if you don't want to use your bandwidth, which, the bandwidth is still an issue. And so when I look at that, it's like, I'm sorry, Stadia, you're done. You're done. Now, I have bought 2 games on Stadia, and I am subscribed to Stadia for the free Pro games right now. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to keep it for a little while longer. I'm still playing some of those games, so why get rid of it if you're still playing it? But once the xCloud comes out, because it's going to be part of my subscription service for the Xbox Game Pass anyway, I'm canceling Stadia. I am canceling Stadia. There's no reason to keep it at this point. And I think a lot of people are going to be in the same boat. Granted, I will say the Stadia is a lot more convenient because playing the games on the Chrome browser is super, super efficient and easy. And the xCloud, if it needs its own app, that might not be as easy, and it might need a more powerful computer. Who knows? There might be a couple things still in Stadia's favor at the end of the day, but what Stadia has going for it is much, much more limited than it should be, and I don't think they're going to survive this when this comes out. But anyway, I would like to know, do any of you out there play games? What do you think about this? Do you play Stadia? Are you going to cancel when this comes out? Or are you already an Xbox person? Did you never get into Stadia? I'd like to know. Comment below. Like, favorite, share, subscribe. And as always, play responsibly. Alright, let's see here. That thing is so good. And there's no sugar in it. Alright, folks. I think we might have time to do the little rant that I was talking about. But before that, let's do main topic number 6. And our 6th main topic, and this can be pretty short, but you know how we've been talking about how Amazon has been firing and censoring people for speaking out against the safety of working at their warehouses? Well, they've done it again. Amazon warehouse worker has allegedly been fired through retaliation for safety activision. So, an Amazon.com Incorporated warehouse worker in Shakopee, Minnesota, has accused the company of retaliating against her for protesting what she says are unsafe working conditions during the pandemic. In a letter to Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison, Hibag Mohammed said managers were demanding that she account for time away from her workstation, including increments of less than 3 minutes. Mohammed said she's being singled out for her activism and that she is now one warning away from termination. She hasn't been fired yet. But, I think most of us have been in a situation where basically management does not like us, and they are looking for reasons to get rid of you. And they will do whatever they can. And, there's a saying out there that if you follow someone around in a car for 3 hours a day, you will see them break at least 10 laws. Because they do things that we all do things we're not supposed to do. They're technically not legal, but we're humans. It's human nature. We just make mistakes. Same thing with work. If you start severely monitoring someone for a day, you will find them breaking at least a few company rules. Things they're not supposed to do. Hey, you're supposed to, you take a phone call that you're maybe not supposed to. Maybe you're at the desk and you check a website real quick, because you want to check the news. You're technically not supposed to do that. But if you're getting your work done and there's nothing, and it's not impeding your workflow, who cares? Unless a manager cares, they want to get rid of you for something, then they will start looking through everything you do and they will retaliate. And that's probably what's happening here. As she says, I worked at Amazon for nearly 4 years with a very clean record and just 1 or 2 warnings I know of in that entire time, she wrote in the July 13th letter, which was reviewed by Bloomberg. Amazon managers have targeted me and openly harassed me before, but increasingly during the pandemic. Mohammed is the latest employee activist to accuse Amazon of retaliation. This year, the company has fired 4 employees who criticized the company for its treatment of workers. The termination of Chris Smalls, who led a demonstration at a warehouse in Staten Island, triggered an investigation by New York Attorney General Letitia James, who called his firing immoral and inhumane. Amazon has said all 4 were terminated for violating company policy. Now, in regards to Mohammed, an Amazon spokeswoman said, "While we have not seen the formal complaint, the allegations described are not true. We do not tolerate any kind of discrimination in the workplace, and we support every employee's right to criticize their employer. That doesn't come with blanket immunity to ignore internal policies." And by the way, Amazon's internal policies does say things against protesting the company. So what's probably happening from my perspective, and I could be wrong, but this woman has complained about safety issues going on at Amazon. And we know that there are safety issues at Amazon. They've been pretty well documented, and people keep speaking out more and more. But Amazon, rather than fire this person on the day of complaint, they're just now being like the nosy boss. They're looking through all the things she's doing, finding out all the little mistakes that, everyday human error makes, and saying, see, this is reason to complain to you, to write you up, and we are going to fire you if you don't improve. But maybe there's nothing really to improve, and the mistakes she's making, they're just human error mistakes. But Amazon really they probably just want to get rid of her. She's complained about safety, and they just want to get her out of there. So that's what I believe is going on. However, what do you folks think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? I'd love to know. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, flame responsibly. My nose is itching really bad right now, folks. I'm sorry. So, anyway, we only got 45 minutes into this. So you know what? I think we will have time to do this little mini rant of mine. And I've definitely got something to say about this. Now, what triggered this, honestly, and everything just kind of fell into place, was that I got this email one day from Amazon Pay. And they titled this email, "More Trust and Confidence, the Benefits of the A to Z Guarantee." And I wanted to puke when I read this. In fact, I almost punched my computer monitor when I read this thing. And they say in this email, when you launch Amazon Pay, you're offering your customers more than a quick and convenient payment method. You're giving them a worry-free experience thanks to Amazon's A to Z Guarantee. The confidence that the A to Z Guarantee gives customers can inspire more trust in your brand and your shopping experience. It was a key benefit for retailer Sir Simon Jersey. And Simon Jersey said, or someone who worked there anyway, said, Amazon Pay already has the trust of the consumer. You know that if you have not shopped on a website before, you are still protected by Amazon Pay's A to Z guarantee should you have any problems or want to obtain a return. Now, I wanted to puke for a few reasons. First of all, the A to Z guarantee is not a great thing if you are a seller. Granted, I understand there are some bad sellers out there and they need to be held accountable, but the A to Z is an extremely negative thing, because what a lot of people see the A to Z as is have a free item on us. That's what it is. Like, you complain, we'll give you something for free. Because what they do is this. If someone gets an item and it has a tracking number but doesn't have a signature confirmation, they can say, hey, we never got this item, and they file an A to Z claim. And Amazon says, well, you didn't get a signature confirmation, so yeah, we're going to give the person back their money. Now, the tracking number shows that this item was delivered, but that doesn't matter to Amazon. You've still lost that money. If you want an even more guarantee to get your item free on an A to Z claim, you just simply have to say, hey, the item is not as described. It doesn't matter if it actually is what was described. They just say, hey, it's not as described. And Amazon, rather than saying, okay, we have determined that this person was not satisfied with the item, so they are going to send the item back, and you will then refund the money, they say, hey, this person says the item was not as described. We believe them. We have therefore refunded their money, and it's coming out of your paycheck. They don't give you any recourse on this A to Z thing. The A to Z claim, which, by the way, fun fact, that's why the Amazon logo has a smile that goes A to Z, because it represents their A to Z claim. But if you are a seller, and the vast majority of people will not do this, I just want to make that clear, but if you are a seller, you have to be prepared for that. Like, I was going to show you my account, but then I realized I would have to show you my name, like my store name. So instead, I took this I took this screenshot from my thing. This is the only A to Z claim that I have received in the past year. And by the way, this has been appealed. But I sold, in fact, I have the item right here. I didn't plan for this, but I sold this limited edition Yu Yu Hakusho manga. And it's holographic. They only made like 5,000. I believe this was like a slightly bigger number. This was number 2028. Once I make a video about this, then I will probably sell this one too. And I sold it for $150 on Amazon. $150. Now then, I did ship the package in time, and because it was over $100, if I have a personal policy that if it's ever an item more than $50, get a signature confirmation. It will save you a lot of hassle. But this person, it was shipped. And because it was shipped during the pandemic, it was delayed for reasons I do not know. One day I realized my account was about $170 lower than it should be. And I found it's because there was an A to Z claim filed for this that the package did not arrive. But here what was different about this one. Amazon, usually when there's an A to Z claim that's filed from Amazon, they notify you that a claim has been submitted. They put the money on hold, and you have like a couple weeks to respond. Now, the package had not arrived, but I looked at the tracking, and it was going to be there in like a day or two. And normally what I would have done in this situation is I would have waited a couple days, he would have gotten the package, he would have signed for it, I would have seen that he signed for it, and I would have responded, and said, I don't think this is valid, because the buyer has received the item. In fact, they've signed for it. So, because of COVID-19, this thing got delivered late. And I'm sorry that happened. And then Amazon, more than likely, would have given me my money back. However, in this case, they removed me from due process. They opened the claim, approved the refund, and closed it. And I was not even notified that this had happened until one day I went in. It's like, why is my Amazon account like $170 less than what it was before? Now, clearly, I waited a few days and I appealed it, because I could still appeal it. But here's the thing. I appealed it I would say like let's do this. Like the claim was on June 13th, 2020. I would say on the 17th I filed my appeal. And it has been under review for a month. That is the longest time an A to Z claim has been under appeal for anything. But it turns out I may not be alone in that. Because on the seller forums, which this is something you can be a part of if you are an Amazon seller, someone opened, like they didn't open, but they created this post. And they said A to Z claims no longer being closed. Cases remain open for months. So Red Moon Trading Co. said, has anyone else noticed that A to Z claims are no longer being closed and that the case remains open for months? I have 3 open A to Z claims in the last 3 months, all for items not received, and all of the orders were shipped using Amazon Buy shipping services. Full disclosure, I did not use Amazon Buy shipping services. So USPS tracking confirms the packages is delivered to the buyer's address. I responded to the claims within a day and provided all the tracking information proof, and it's usually a pretty quick closure, yet lately the claims remain open and their status never changed. One has been open since early May 2020. The others are open for over a month. I contacted Amazon and of course they told me nothing except that the cases are still pending. Thanks, Amazon. I can read that for myself. Meanwhile, my money is still being withheld from me. I hope they are not waiting for the 90 days for tracking information to expire so they can then claim they have no proof the package was delivered. It's possible they are extremely backed up, but 2.5 months to resolve an A to Z claim seems excessive. If anyone has any insight or experience with these A to Z claims that remain open for months at a time, please share your thoughts below. And you see other things like Kush for the Tush, which I love, by the way, says, same. I have 1 opened in March and it's still pending. Now have 3 total. My concern is when they do catch up, will they close out all 3 at the same time? If they incorrectly decide to make these my fault, then my metrics will be hit all at once instead of over time as they should have been. SC2 says several other sellers, including myself, have commented on having the same issue. It is frustrating because all the label purchase information, tracking information is right in their own system. It should not be that complicated a technology task for a company like Amazon to connect the dots and close the claim automatically. I guess since there is no benefit to their sales or bottom line, it just is not a priority. And this guy says that they have seen an explosion of A to Z claim cases in general in the last 1/3 recently. And, you know, then someone says you have a premium tracking fee. Of course, not everyone gets premium tracking. I did, by the way. And you just see that a lot of people are just not, like this one. He says here, we're having them open and close within minutes. A buyer received a package, thought it was from another vendor, opened a claim 2 hours after the package was delivered, and it was paid, held against our metrics. Had this happen twice a month. Not sure if that is how they're using, if they are now using bots or what's going on. I think they're using bots. Of course they are. Let's see here. Now, Shahar, this is probably an Amazon employee, says, I see it in a totally different way. To me, this is a proof that Amazon really investigates each claim, maybe waiting for the carrier's investigations. There's no reason that Amazon will pay each claim if label is purchased on Amazon without protecting itself. Would we pay immediately any claim out of pocket just because a buyer claims item not received? Well, no, but the problem is like, you know, there's proof that they've arrived. So yeah, when I read this email, I was just like infuriated. I was infuriated because obviously what Amazon's trying to do is they're trying to make the A to Z guarantee claim sound like a good thing for buyers when it's clearly not. But then apparently my little claim, and granted, yes, I've been making enough money. $150 is not going to be felt per se, but it would certainly still be nice to have. And this isn't exactly chump change for a lot of people. It's just not. Can I make this? I can make that darker yellow. Neat. Anyway, I think it's just totally ridiculous that Amazon has removed me from the due process on this item, and it's since been delivered. That person still has the item. They have the item. They have their money. I can't resell it for $150 because I don't have it. It's just it's ridiculous. In my opinion, it's absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, I would like to know what you think about all of this. Let me know in the comment section below if you've been having issues with the Amazon A to Z guarantee claim problem. And as always, claim responsibly. And that's all of our topics today. So let's see who's left, and if we have any. We don't really have any comments. We just have one that I didn't tackle on. Hearing rumors movie theaters might remain closed till 2021. What will it take for the government to realize that they are killing the entertainment industry? Well, the government is more concerned with saving lives than the entertainment industry right now. I think the government might have to help them out. I don't think it will be closed till 2021, but I want to remind everyone, we could have been back in the movies this week. We could have been back in the movies this week. We could be going back normal. When we were reopening, we had flattened the curve. Remember that? The glorious day when we flattened the curve, and hey, we can go back out. We just have to wear a mask and social distance and not do a lot of unnecessary things. Remember that day? And then we all had to be a bunch of pansies and say, I don't want to wear a mask, and, and flood the bars and do group gatherings, and some people even had COVID-19 parties. Maybe I'm a little bitter about that because I wanted to see Tenet. It's July 17th. We should be seeing Tenet today. So here's the thing. I would hope that we could actually do the benign, common sense things to do to get things back on track. But yeah, they could remain closed till 2021. Now, I have discussed in other videos on my other channel about this, and I was going to talk about it today. Maybe it'll also be Monday's topic. Movie theaters might just have to say, you know what, there's no perfect date to reopen. We just have to reopen as they go along. We'll have to show classic films. And maybe the studios might even have to realize, hey, we're going to have to be keeping our movies in theaters for a lot longer. Like this whole 90-day thing where it's in theaters for 90 days and then it goes to video. Maybe we can't do that for a while. Maybe Tenet and Mulan will have to stay in theaters for 5 or 6 months. Who knows? That would be perfectly fine by me. But yeah, I will be making more videos about that topic. Thank you, Mark, for promoting the like, share, and subscribe. Mark answered Omar's question. Okay. So, yeah, there you go. That's today's show. And hey, we got it just under an hour today. So anyway, thank you all for joining me. It was an honor and a privilege to spend time with you. You know the drill. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, and keep an eye over the channel for the weekend. You might have noticed the replay videos did not go up today. That's because I just did them this afternoon, but I didn't want to put 5 videos up in an hour. So I will be spreading those videos out on Saturday and Sunday. So there will actually be weekend videos this weekend. But anyway, you know the drill. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.